Hello and welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English edition. We begin our news with the major and top highlights as usual. Delegation of the Ministry of Education in France to the academics and regrets. MFOP. And on the international scene, a large electoral victory for the LDP funeral week for Shinzo Abe in Japan. Those were our major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, visited this morning the Embassy of Japan in Djibouti, where he signed the Register of Condolence opened in tribute to the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who died last Friday as a result of the shooting attack. Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed paid tribute to the memory of Mr. Abe, who was a statesman who contributed to the development of the century partnership of his country with the Republic of Djibouti. A number of heads of diplomatic missions, ambassadors of brotherly and friendly countries, and other civilian and military personalities also signed the Register of Condolences. Let us recall that the assassination of one of the most famous politicians of the archipelago, which he governed for over 80 years, his knowledge the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has deeply bruised and moved in Japan as abroad. Heavy rains accompanied by fog, making temperatures and landings impossible for aircraft, caused a major disruption for air traffic from this morning until midday in Addis Ababa. Many planes had to be diverted to neighboring airports. The airport of Djibouti was overwhelmed and was able to accommodate either 12 airlines that landed in Djibouti. This situation, which is due to climate, is repeated every year during this period, according to meteorologists. During the afternoon, the fog dissipated and the planes were able to leave for their destination in Addis Ababa. The situation of fog, according to the officials, may be repeated tomorrow. For the time being, air traffic has resumed in Addis Ababa, even if the international flights have been largely disrupted with several hours of delay. Headed by Representative Khaltoum Farah Saeed, the Legislation, Public Administration, and Human Rights Committee discussed in its meeting held today a draft law on the organization and operation of the delegated ministry in charge of the digital economy and innovation. This meeting witnessed the participation of deputies, members, and non-members of the authority in the presence of the Minister of Delegate in charge of the Digital Economy and Innovation, Mrs. Mariam Hamadou Ali, accompanied by her closet aides. After constructive and fruitful discussions, the Legislation Committee agreed to transfer the establishment of this project in the next plenary session of Parliament. Within the framework of a partnership between the Djiboutian Ministry of Education and Vocational Training, the French Ministry of National Education, Youth and French Embassy in Djibouti, 18 Djiboutian training inspectors from different levels of education have been following their statutory training in France in 6 academies at the Institute of Higher Education and Training of Inspectors since last April. A delegation led by the Secretary General of MENFOB, Mr. Mohamed Abdullah Mahyoub, and composed of the Inspector General of General Education and the inspectors, is a one-week mission to France from Friday, July 1 to Friday, July 8, 2022, to review the training with the host academies and officials of the French Ministry of Education, discuss prospects for collaboration to install a sustainable partnership under a convention between the two ministries. During its tour, the Djibouti delegation was able to visit the various academies where it met with the actors and the academic, the French inspectors and Inspector General who participated in the interviews alongside the Inspector General and the MENFOB Dean inspectors were able to appreciate the quality of the presentations of the training inspectors, their professional skills, and the richness and diversity of the operational activities in which they participated in the host academies, indicating the consistency of the training they received. The delegation of the Djiboutian Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, led by Secretary General of MENFOB, Mr. Mohamed Abdullah Mahyoub, and composed of the Inspector General, Mrs. Muna Ismail Abdo, and the Inspector Dean, Mr. Abdulqadir Dahir Aden, and Shihim Mohammed Shihim, was received at the Ministry of National Education, Youth and Sports by senior officials of this ministry and that of Europe and Foreign Affairs. This high-level meeting, co-chaired by His Excellency the Ambassador of Djibouti in France, Mr. Rayad Musa Yahya, and Mr. Nicholas, Director of International Relations, European and Cooperation, provided an opportunity to review the tour of MENFOB officials in the various academies, Djibouti at the start of the school year 2022. As part of its charitable activities, the association called Community Youth Ukar have proceeded to the distribution of clothes of the Eid al-Adha to orphans and impoverished families in the city of Dakhil on Friday, June 8, 2022, at the headquarters of the Regional Council of Dakhil. The association, led by Mr. President Mukhtar Ibrahim Gale, the chairman of the distribution of these clothes, brought together more than 100 children from 5 to 15 years orphaned or destitute, with the participation of local authorities such as the Deputy Prefect Mr. Fuad Abubakar and the Vice President of the Regional Council. Whereas recalled that the association had a financial support in partnership with a charity organization. As part of its charitable activities, the team of Karma Karan went on July 7, 2022 to the locality of Dimole, a village in the sub-prefecture of Yobuki in the region of Dakhil. As usual, the association led by the acting president Abdullah Musa Othman proceeded to the distribution of food purses, rice and dates, clothes for adults and children, including qualities in partnership with a charity. In this period of Eid al-Adha marked by the increase in food price and drought, this provincial aid will allow families to breathe a little until the situation returns to normal. The aid was handed over personally by the acting president of Karma Karan, Mr. Abdullah Musa Othman, to the village chief, all known as, and Mrs. Fatuma Hussein Hamad. The inhabitants, very grateful, showed them a lot of love and respect for this generous act. According to the Djiboutian meteorological forecast, the weather will be cloudy tomorrow. Winds accompanied by dense dust will blow, and the prevailing westerly winds will be medium and then fade. While it is impossible to see from the Khamsin winds, the overall weather will be between 24 to 32 Celsius. Moving on towards the international scene now, the Japanese people have unsurprisingly given their confidence to the ruling coalition on Saturday in the Senate elections. The election was overshadowed by the assassination on Friday of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe during an election rally. The Rebel Democratic Party, which is known as LDP, to which Shinzo Abe belonged, and its Kali committee would win between 70 and 83 of the 125 seats to be filled, according to the projections by the public protesters. By this, our beloved viewers, we conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you once again for joining us. Thank you.